Salvete omnes, salvete amici. Nomen mihi est Decimus Aurelius. Hello, good evening, good day, everybody. I am Decimus Aurelius. You are watching the Nova Roma Twitch channel. It is great to be back in the new year. We are now in the year 2776 in the age of our city, or in other words, what the common calendar would otherwise tell us, the year 2023. I am, really excited that we can be back streaming the Republic of Rome board game broadcast again in the new year. And for those that have been watching, this is a carry-on from last year's session. So we are now doing episode 7 or session 7 tonight, starting tonight, our first stream for this in the new year. And we're going to have all of our original senators join us back, which is amazing. I'm really happy about that. And but we're starting in turn 6 of the forum phase. All right, so we finished session 6, concluding with the revenue phase there. We wrapped up that session there. So now we're moving into the forum phase when we start tonight. So it is, I'm excited to get started. I hope you guys are too. Thanks for all those tuning in. Thanks for George Tanos, who's already donated a tier 1 sub. Oh, excuse me. You can see how excited I am. I'm losing my voice already. Hopefully not. We'd like to get to at least one game. So let's not delay. I'm going to transition. Hang around. We'll be back very shortly. Okay, here we are. We're back. Thank you for that little break. We're now looking at our live virtual tabletop, thanks to Tabletop Simulator, which you can get off Steam. And we're using the basis here by Scott and the gang. You can download this. In the comments, you can see a link to this where you can download the basic structure module for the Tabletop Simulator and use the same module as we are here, although I've added a couple of bits to it. Let's get a little bit of a sound check from all of our senators. All of our senators can I have a salvete.
Salvete.
Yay, good. I'm seeing green and yellow bars and nice clipping, so that's wonderful. Yes, comments there. Delta 21's going, woo, lots of people. Yes, lots of us on stream. Technology is currently... Sorry, folks, cool. So we're going to start with the forum phase, folks, turn 6. And we start with the highest ranking available official, and that is Marca Wedia with her Aquila faction. So Marca Wedia, if you'd like to grab 2d6 and roll, and we're checking for a 7. So there you go. There is your die roll. Brilliant. That is an 11. So that means you get to draw a card. So however method you like, grab one of those, put it in your hand, have a look. Forum cards will come back out. Red faction cards will stay in your hand. Here we go.
Okay, stays in my hand.
Oh, good. That's a nice start. It's always nice getting a faction card to kick things off. Okay, so now when we look at our cheat sheet over here, and I'm scrolling across for the benefit of those at home, there are 4 little phases that we step through: persuasion, knight, sponsoring games, and faction leader. So the first question we ask of Marta Wedia is, would you like to make a persuasion attempt?
Not today, thank you.
Not today, she says. That's okay. Next question we ask is, who will be rolling for a knight today?
Flaminius.
All right. Flaminius is going to roll. Is he going to put any money towards the cause to beef up the probability?
Yes, we can put 5 in.
Oh, he's going to put all 5 in, so that's an automatic in our system. So, yep, you can click. You can keep it on there, just make it 0 if you like.
Okay.
And then, go ahead and grab yourself a knight for Flaminius. And don't forget to update your vote tally as well. That will be very good. And while you're doing that, have also a think about is if you'd like anybody to sponsor any games today.
Not today.
Not today. And last question, would you like to change your faction leader?
No. Where are we? I don't think so.
Was it Platius as your current faction leader there, I see? Are you still happy with that?
Yep, believe Platius, yes.
Perfect. All right. Let us now rotate clockwise around the table to Marcus Decimus. Marcus Decimus, hello to you. 2d6 at your leisure, good sir.
Roger that.
4. That means you get to draw a card. You know the dealio. Grab one from the deck. Red you keep. Black comes back out to us for us to have a look at.
That is a black card.
Ooh, a black card, and we've pulled it out. Ah, yes, and we see it's got a little symbol on it, which means certain things for us. So we have the Jurgenthine or the Jurgentine War, which originally occurred from 111 to 105 BCE. This one attacks Africa. That's currently not a concern for us as we don't have the province of Africa yet. Let's see here. It has a strength of 8. 14 and 13 are our danger noodle numbers, and 25 talents this is worth to us if we can defeat the war. And right, because of the its icon, it is an automatic live active war. So that is there ready for the Senate to consider going forwards. So now let's finish off the initiative for Marcus Decimus. Marcus Decimus, any persuasion attempts from you today?
No persuasion attempts, thank you.
No persuasion attempts. Who's rolling for a knight today?
I'm going to have my Furious roll for
Furiouses. And any money for the cause?
all 5 talents.
There we go. That's another automatic. Deduct the amount there. And great, you've added the knight and you've updated your vote tally. Fantastic. Anybody sponsoring any games today?
Yes, I'll be sponsoring a Bloodfest from our faction leader.
Bloodfest. That's fantastic. And what we'll do, so we can see the people at home, we look at the games table here, and he said he's going to sponsor a Bloodfest. We can see he's costing 13. That will give him 2 popularity for that senator, and will reduce our unrest level by 2. And we'll notice here our unrest level is currently 2, and it's now going to go down to 0, which is fantastic. So if somebody would like to also update the unrest level, that would be brilliant. And all the hands race over and click the button. I love it. I love it. Very good. I can see Aurelius has spent his money and he gets his popularity. The unrest level's down. Everybody cheers. Everybody loves a bit of blood on the first game back. Marvellous. Any change of faction leader for you today, sir?
Not today, thank you.
Excellent. There we go. We are now done with Marcus Decimus. Okay, to Numerius Aurelius, brother in arms. Let's start with your 2d6, good sir. Let's see what happens. We're going to roll 3. Let's just roll again. Let's roll 2. There we go. Nice. 5, 6, 7. We've got an event. There is the lucky number 7 number. So now, because we're in the Middle Republic, we're going to look at the middle column for our random events table. I'm going to scroll my view up there so people can see at home. And you can see there's a whole list of events here. Some are good, some are bad. Obviously, our players want their usual allied enthusiasm, which they've been known to collect quite regularly in the past. So we're now going to ask Numerius Aurelius to roll his 3d6, and we'll see what event that we get. When you're ready. Nice rolls, and it's going to be a total of 13, which gives us Barbarian Raids. Barbarian Raid. So if somebody would like to go into the event deck for me and pull out Barbarian Raids and place that in our forum space up the top there. I recall that Barbarian Raids isn't overly pleasant. It's not a nice one. Let's have a look. There we go, Barbarian Raids. Let's flip that over to the... oh, no, it's the normal side. There we go. It's a different, slightly different colour. So I'll just drag that across and I'll bring that up so people can see at home. All right, so here is what the card says. If I press Control, Alt, there we go. At the start of the next revenue phase, the governor of each frontier province must make a raid roll of 2d6 plus the military force of the province to avoid being overrun. So the military force is equal to the force plus 2 divided by the amount of garrison legions plus the military strength of the governor. Oh boy. So a result of greater than or equal to 15 is required to avoid being overrun. Right, so you get a pretty high number there. An overrun province loses all income, reverses to an undeveloped if developed, and may not roll for development this turn, and mortality chits equal to the black die of the raid roll are drawn for the governor and the province loses the number of garrison legions if available. If the governor is captured, the ransom must be paid before the next forum phase or he is killed. So there is quite a lot to this card.
Revenue phase.
Yeah, and it's in the next revenue phase. So let's make sure we don't forget that. Let's make a note for ourselves. Lots of work for the governor, and of course, for something for the Senate to think about to maybe protect some of the more valuable provinces with maybe some garrisons. So have a think about that, senators, as we come up and approach the Senate phase. All right.
Did somebody make a calculator for barbarian raids? And well, we're
Yeah, I don't have one specifically, but we could probably come up with one. So that would be good. All right, so let's finish off the initiative from Numerius Aurelius. Numerius Aurelius, any persuasion attempts for you today?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. Who'll be rolling for a knight today?
That will be, what's his name there? Achilles.
Achilles. Ah, there we go. Achilles, ID 12, is going to roll for a knight. And is he putting any money to the cause?
Yeah, he's going to put a full 5.
He's going to put the full 5. That will give him an auto. Very good. I can see that being deducted. And grab yourself one of those little white tokens and throw a number 1 on that for your knights. Well done. Is anybody sponsoring any games today?
No, thank you.
No, thank you. And any change of faction leader?
No.
No. All right, there we go. That's nice and simple. There we go. Finished in Numerius Aurelius' turn. Let's go across to Quintus Octavius. Quintus Octavius, I can see you're primed and ready. When you're ready, there you go. There's another event. Oh, boy, it's going to be one of those nights, isn't it? All right, let's go back and look at the events table for the privileges of those working at home. All right, Middle Republic. When you're ready, 3d6 there, Quintus Octavius. All right, I can hear the dice rolling, and we're going to get 14 this time. Allied enthusiasm. Fantastic. That makes us all feel better. There we go. So somebody would like to pull out the Allied Enthusiasm event card. You can don't forget you can do your search function too, which might be a bit quicker.
Surely with that, we just keep that on top, right?
Yeah, we should. It just seems to be so regular for us now. So a reminder for those, Allied Enthusiasm gives 50 talents in the revenue phase. So there's a lot happening in our revenue phase coming up, all right? So that's amazing. It's going to be very busy next turn. Interesting. All right, let's finish off your turn, Quintus Octavius. Any persuasion attempts from you today?
No, there will not be.
Okay. Any sponsoring of games?
No.
No. And finally, well, not finally. Did I ask about knights yet?
No, you have not.
No. Who's going to have a go at knights today?
Fabius Maximus will have a go.
Fabius Maximus. And is he going to be spending any money for the cause?
He will not be.
All right. Roll that 1d6. Let's see how lucky you are. Oh, unlucky.
Not lucky at all.
Not lucky at all. Finally, any change of faction leader?
There will not be, no.
There will not be. All right, that will now conclude your turn, Quintus Octavius. Let's go across to our international friend for our game, Appius Rufius. Appius Rufius, time for you to roll your 2d6, and let's see how you go. 7 or not. Let's see what happens. There's 2, and it's going to be 2. Very good. You get to draw a card. Go ahead and pull one out, or hover and tap 1. Put that in your hand. Red you keep. Black comes back out to us. Aha, what do we have here? So he's pulled out. There you go, that'll do. That's perfect. He's pulled out Philip V of the Macedonian Wars. He is an enemy leader worth 6 to those wars. And he increases the strength of all 4 Macedonian wars. So, but because we don't have a Macedonian war at the moment, oh, yes, we do. Look, what do we spy down there in our inactive war slot, everybody? Aha. Nearly escaped us. So when we draw an enemy leader, what happens, folks?
I guess
Gets
it
matched.
goes to the wars, right? But I don't know does it activate the war, right? I don't know, because if another matching war comes in, it will activate it for sure. But I don't know about the leaders.
So I'd like somebody to check this in the rule book while we're talking about it. But generally, what happens, from my understanding, so a matching war would make a war imminent. But the presence of an enemy leader, I think, instantly activates the war. That's my current recall.
I believe that was the case.
But if somebody wants to flick through their book and have a look, and we can confirm that for ourselves before proceeding. You can see us all madly looking through our books. So I'm going to search the term leader as well. Yeah. Statesman, no. enemy faction leader, base income. We need to go to our war section. Here we go. Forum cards. Well, race is there. Here we go. Consequences. Leader activation. If, while an inactive or an active war is in play, a matching leader card is drawn. So this is rule 17341. For those playing along at home, this is rule 17341. And it says here, the leader is immediately placed in the war and the war is considered active. There you go. Leaders cannot activate imminent wars, though. So if there was already an imminent war, he can't automatically activate it. It has to go through its turn cycle. But this one was inactive, so therefore it gets active straight away. So it appears that my recall was correct in this instance. So
Yeah,
we now have 2 wars in our active wars box, the Jurgentine War and the Second Macedonian War, with an additional strength of 6. So a little bit more to think about there. So let's finish off the turn for Appius Rufius, shall we? Appius Rufius, first of all, any persuasion attempts from you today?
Yes, there will be a persuasion attempt.
Oh, that's very
And I
exciting.
I have to use the nominee markers, I guess.
Yeah, that might be good. Yeah, let's use the markers just to make it really clear for ourselves. I like that you've done that. Fantastic.
Valerius is going to try to
And I'm going to pull up. Actually, I might pull up
Yes.
the calculator from our tools section here. Persuasion calculator. Here we go. So let's. I'll have you go and fill that in there, Appius Rufius, for the
Okay.
persuader. And if the persuadee can do the persuadee portion of the persuasion calculator. Don't worry about counter bribes just yet, folks. We'll get to that in just a moment. So here
shall
we're
I
gonna
fill
have,
in this loyalty or what? Okay, aligned.
Yep. So we're going to see an influence of 5 for the persuader. He has an oratory of 2. He will be adding a bribe, as we see. He's adding it now, which all, as we know, has to come from the senator's personal treasury. And
So
as you can see,
16. I have to.
yeah. So feel
deduct
free
16.
to
First,
deduct that.
Yeah. Okay, I will deduct it
Yep.
first. Okay.
So deduct it from Valerius and place that. Just put it to the bottom of our persuadees card for now, just so we can know what's going in. But he currently doesn't have any money on him.
Yeah.
So the loyalty is 7 plus, and he's aligned. So we've got that additional alignment bonus as well. And we'll ask the world for counter bribes in just a moment to see if they want to do so. So currently, he's put through a target dice roll up to the maximum, which is 9. So he's only put in enough bribes to hit that, which is good. So the loyalty 7, aligned, yes, counter bribe. Okay. All right. Here we go. So obviously the heavy influence makes it quite quite a target, doesn't it? So now let's now that you've made the bribe, we're now going to progress clockwise around the circle to see if anybody from their faction treasuries wishes to make a counter bribe. I'm just going to drag that 16 token just to the bottom, just so we can make it really obvious as to what has been put forward so far. First of all, Tiberius Cornelius, any counter bribes from you, good sir?
Yeah, I'll put in 15 counter bribe.
15 counter bribe. Well, right, there you go. So obviously got a fair amount of saved up in your faction treasury there. So if you'd like to, good, I see the 15 has now been added to the counter bribe. And if you'd like to pull that 15 out, please, and place that as a separate money token underneath Cornelius there for me. Let's put in a second row. Good, thank you. So we'll pop all the counter bribes underneath there. So we're currently looking at a target dice roll of -6, but we'll continue around for the moment before we ask the question again of our original persuader. So just stepping through nice and slow, making sure we get our calculator correct here before we proceed. All right, Marco Wedia, any counter bribes from you from your faction treasury? You're currently mute if you're wishing to speak at the moment, Marco Wedia.
Not today.
Not today. Across to Marcus Decimus, any counter bribes from your faction treasury, good sir?
Not at this stage, thank you.
Down to Nemirius Aurelius, any counter bribes from you?
Yeah, I'll put 5 as a counter bribe.
Cool. Drag 5. Make sure you deduct that from your faction treasury. And if you could pop a 5 token next to the 15, And good. Somebody has updated the counter bribe slot there. Thank you. All right. And yes, just make sure that those who are deducting from the faction treasuries that you have done so, because I can't see that live. All right. Quintus Octavius, any counter bribes from you from your faction treasury?
Not at the time, thank you.
Okay. Okay, now we come back to the beginning. Let's ask Appius Rufius if he's happy with that. Probably not. But let's ask a question. Appius Rufius, are you looking to put any more money in to bribe on your original 16?
Yes, I will put 15 plus 15 into it.
He's going to put a further 15 in. Please put that next to your original 16 or add that to the 16 there. Yep, good. So Valerius is now out of money. Add 15 to the bribe slot at the top for me. So add that to the 16 up there, and we'll see what that gets. All right, so we're back to a target dice roll of 4, and now let's rip around the room again to balance the odds. So Tiberius Cornelius, any further counter bribes from your faction treasury?
I don't have any more, but anybody who cares to bribe will be on the receiving end of quite favourable deals from me.
Okay, all right. Mark Goetti, any counter bribes from your faction treasury? Just letting you know you're on mute if you're wishing to talk.
All of my 2.
All right, if you'd like to deduct 2 from your faction treasury and place a 2 marker down the bottom with the 5 and the 15 for me, that would be great, just so we can track that. And has somebody added that to the counter bribe already on our Persuadee? Yep, looks like it. Good. All right, so now we've got that counter bribe in there. All right, make sure you've deducted that from your faction treasury. Across to Marcus Decimus, any counter bribes from you?
I'll put forward 2 talents for the counter bribe as well.
All right, very good. Deduct that from your faction treasury, and if you could, again, throw another 2 talents down the bottom there just for our tracking purposes. We're up to 24 in the counter bribes. Look, I'm going to ask the questions, but it's probably mute. Numerous Aurelius, any counter bribes from you, from your faction treasury? No, I didn't think so.
No.
Quintus Octavius, I'm assuming it's the same from you.
Yeah. No.
Right. So back to Appius Rufius. Look, you've got to roll less than or equal to 0, which is pretty hard to do on a 2d6. So you're welcome to still roll the die if you like, but I can see that Valerius is out of money, so it looks like your options are pretty slim on the ground. That was a huge.
There is no, so you can't persuade a senator with 0. It's no possibility.
That is correct, sir. That is exactly my point.
It's over.
Unfortunately, it is over. So let us wrap this up now. So for you, Cornelius, you can add up all of that money and add that to your card into the 1 token now, if you like. I guess congratulations to you for earning so much money. You're now the most influential and the most richest senator in Rome.
Just call me Crassus.
You are Monde Crassus. That's exactly what I was thinking. Yeah. I certainly applaud that bold attempt. That was quite a favourable target there, and I guess that's one of the gambles that you play, because you never truly know how much is in somebody's faction treasury, and it appears that there was quite a bit there in Tiberius Cornelius's treasury there. I guess,
but that was not the issue.
defense.
I guess the issue was more that the others chained in, got into it.
True. Yep.
Him.
Obviously, he managed to persuade a bit there. So, yeah, I feel your frustration, I think. All right.
Frustration,
unlucky,
no, but it's the way this game goes, right?
Indeed it is. Indeed it is. Let's try and have a happier finish to your turn. Any knights for you today, good sir? Who's rolling for a knight?
Free roll for Quinctius.
Quinticus is going to have a roll. Very good. Roll a 1d6. Let's see if you get lucky now. 4. I'll get rid of those yellow numbers. That's okay.
All right.
So no knight there. That's unlucky. Any sponsoring of games? Probably not. And finally, any change of faction leader?
No.
All right. That will conclude the turn for Appius Rufius. Let's go across to Tiberius Cornelius. Lots of action for him, and he hasn't even had his turn yet. Tiberius Cornelius, 2d6 when you're ready. All right, we are looking at 9. That means you get a card. At your leisure, go grab a card. Red you keep, black comes back out to us.
Won't be happy about this.
Uh-oh. Here we go. Let's have a look at this one. Oh, wow. Look at this. We
Oh,
have
it matches the war.
Yes, it does. We have the First Macedonian War now, so a matching war, and it is an armaments icon, so it won't be active immediately, but it is going to become imminent. It'll be a revolt if Macedonia is a province. Now, we don't have Macedonia yet as a province, do we, folks?
Nope.
No.
The Macedonian war is active, right? Doesn't it match it now?
No, we've got Illyricum and
Okay.
the Hispanias so far. Okay, they were our newest ones. Right, so noting that we already have an active war, we've drawn a matching one. So as I understand it, the First Macedonian is going to be an imminent war. Now, it's interesting. Normally you'd fight the wars in order, which may happen when it eventually becomes active, unless you guys defeat the Second Macedonian before the First Macedonian comes out. But right, so the First Macedonian is now an imminent war. It's going to come out in the following turn. So keep track of that one. Right,
Game
Tiberius-
Master, could I just interrupt real quick?
Yeah. Please do.
We also have to remember that the wars do attack one of our provinces.
Which wars have we not seen? Which one does that? Oh, yeah.
The Macedonian attacks Illyricum.
Oh, cool. And we've got a little token
Which
for this too.
activates
So,
my own
yeah, good
province.
pickup. Illyricum, we don't have Macedonia, but Illyricum it does. So let's pull out province under attack for Illyricum just to remind ourselves that provincial wars will have to be fought here if the Senate doesn't fight that war on behalf of the governor. So Terentius of the, that's your faction.
Yeah.
So I hope you've got a keen way of persuading the Senate to attack that war so you don't have to fight it on your own. A good pickup. Thank you for bringing that to our attention. Well done. Okay, let's finish the turn for Tiberius Cornelius. Who's going to have a go at rolling for a knight today?
It will be Calpurnius.
Oh, not money bags? Okay, all right. Calpurnius, any money for the cause?
Yeah, I'll put on 5.
All right, that's an auto. So go ahead and add a knight there. Well done. Any
I want to pressure a
sponsoring
knight
of...
as well.
What's that, sorry?
I want to pressure a knight. Is that when I do that? now?
You can either roll for a knight or
one.
pressure multiple knights. Can you do
Okay,
both?
right.
Let's double check because the wording
I
is...
think it's one or the other.
Yeah, this has come up before. So, I think it's an or statement. So, one Senate in Rome can attract one knight, or one or more knights can be pressured. There we go. So, it's definitely an or statement. So, from here, continuing, anybody sponsoring any games today?
No.
No sponsoring of games. And finally, any change of your faction leader?
Yeah, I want to make Fulvius faction leader.
Oh, cool. All right. Marcus Fulvius Flaccus is now going to be your faction leader for your faction, Corona faction. Brilliant. All right, and that will conclude your turn. All right, and I think as we come back to Marca Guerdia has done her turn, so we've completed all the initial parts of the initiative. That's fantastic. So let's finish off the forum phase now, folks, as we do. First of all senators holding a major office get a major corruption marker. So if you've got a purple token in your area, please grab yourself a major corruption marker. You might have to flip it over. They're in the middle of the board if you forgot where they were, underneath, next to the console markers there. So we'll just let the players do that. So Tiberius Cornelius will need 2. Marca Guerdia needs the 1. Numerus Aurelius needs 1.
Is that for the Pontifex?
Yep, Pontifex Maximus will need to have 1. That's correct. I think that'll be everyone then. We'll just wait
Is
for
it major
Tiberius
or minor?
Cornelius to get his.
Major.
What am I doing? Sorry.
Your major corruption markers for both the censor and the field console. That's it. Flip them over to show the major side. Major corruption. Very good. All right. I think that's everyone. Very good. All right. Next step to finish off the forum phase there. We don't have a second Punic War or Gladiator Slave revolt active right now, so we don't have to go destroying anything. And then finally, we get to put Rome in order through the HRL rolling for senators and concessions, which is great. So let us go up to the Curia box here. Marca Wedia, we're going to have you roll very shortly. So if you'd like to get ready to arm yourself with dice. And we're going to roll to see if we can recover some things from the Curia. So we've got one of each, which is quite nice. We'll first of all see if we can get rid of Hannibal. Then we'll see if we can bring Fabius back. And finally, we'll see if Tax Farmer 6 comes back out to us as well for distribution. So first of all, we need a 5 or a 6 to bring them back in. Martha, when you're ready, please roll a 1d6. We get a 3, so unfortunately Hannibal will stay for now. Let's see if we can get Fabius out. A 5 or a 6 or a 1d6, please. Let's see how you go. Yay! Fabius comes out, and I can see we've still got a Claudius in there too, so we get to roll for him while we're there. So another 1d6 when you're ready.
I have to remind that the Fabius card is going to the Senator Fabius Cunctator card.
Thank you. Yes, very true. I'm glad you picked that up. That is correct. So the owner of Fabius, you can actually go put that family card underneath. That's it. Good remembering. Well done, Appius Rufius. You guys are switched on. It's like you guys never took a break at all. Excellent. Claudius doesn't make it, unfortunately. He will stay dead for the time being. Oh, sorry, in training. Let's pretend he's a new senator. A little bit more positive. Come on, Decimus Aurelius. And then finally, let's roll for Tax Farmer 6. 1d6 when you're ready. There, Rome Console. Unlucky. So those will stay there for now.
So what'll be the young Claudius is still embedded with the legions getting training before joining the Senate?
Still paying tribute, is that right? Okay, can I have all players make sure your faction vote tallies are up to date? So please check your tallies. So your major one should include all your oratory plus knights. For those that have got, special votes for battle votes, make sure you've calculated those correctly based on any priests that you've got. Very good. So just check all your vote counters.
Does Aurelius get another oratory? It's just like,
in your faction, let's have a look.
yeah.
So yes. So you, if you like some of the others have done, you could actually I can see that some others have put a token over the oratory for Aurelius to make it a 4. And therefore, you'll update your vote counter as well.
Okay.
So grab a white. I can do that for you if you like. Bring that
thank
over,
you.
and I'll turn this into a 4, and that will remind you that he now has a 4 oratory.
Thank you.
All right. Everybody ready? Give me a thumbs up on camera. All good, Quintus Octavius. Perfect. There we go. That will now conclude the forum phase. We're now going to move into the population phase. So let us now update our little jiggy in the middle. Excellent. And as we can see from the population phase here, we need to see if there's an adjustment to the unrest level. So we'll get a +1 for every drought and or war droughts in effect, and any unprosecuted wars. Now, we currently have no unprosecuted wars, which is really nice. Let's just double check all those wars for droughts. I don't see any.
No, we do not.
No droughts up there either. No events that are giving us any droughts, I don't think.
We
No.
do not have an event with drought,
So I don't think there's going to be any current change to the unrest level, folks. I think that's pretty positive. Good. All right, so now we get to move into the State of the Republic speech. As is our custom in our Republic of Rome board game broadcast, we always have the HRAO, in this case the Rome Console, give a bit of a speech about what's going on in our Trepid Republic, and eventually we'll do a roll and see what that comes out to be on the population table. So the floor is now yours, Marca Wedia.
Welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for sticking with us over this extended Senate break that we have had. We have come into a relatively peaceful time, although as we look forward, we see some active wars on the horizon, which we all must be preparing for in terms of thinking about the best way in which we can band together to make sure that Rome continues in all its glory. Thank you.
All right. Nice. Another little bit of a motivational speech. Excellent. So I'm now going to change the view up to the State of the Republic table here for the benefit of everybody at home. We can see here we're not going to have any modifiers to our roll today because our unrest level is currently 0. So whatever we roll today is going to be the result. But we do add popularity though. Is that correct? I'm just reminding myself. Yes, 3d6 plus the Rome consul's popularity, and the popularity for Flaminius is nothing. So we're not going to see any modifiers as per my original statement. So you need a really, really high 3d6 for us to feel good about ourselves. When you're ready, Marta Coedia.
Pretty good.
All right, 3d6. We're getting a total of 12. No change. Been a very neutral day. That's a good roll.
Excellent.
I think a no change is a good change, in my opinion. Yeah, that's good. That's good. All right. So therefore, we've got nothing to implement now. So that will straight away now bring us into the Senate phase. So you guys know how to run a Senate phase. The cheat sheet is over there on your right if you need that. And just follow the bouncing ball. If you get stuck, let's sing out. But Rome Console, the floor is yours.
Okay, so thank you for coming today. And I have sent a few messages, but I have also wanting to put forward for election 2 senators for the new consuls. So I'm going to put forward Fabius Maximus from Quintus Octavius's faction.
Let's use the
also,
nominee tokens as well, which will be very helpful. Yep.
there we go.
Thank you.
Green nominee here. And also going to nominate, where have we as well too? Valerius from Appius Rufius as well. So I am going to call for votes, firstly from Quintus Octavius.
I will put 3 votes against.
Okay, next I will hear from Appius Rufius.
4 votes against.
Next, Tiberius Cornelius.
22 in favour.
Next, I want to hear from Marcus Decimus.
13 votes against the proposal.
And Numerius Aurelius.
Just a quick refresher. It's just my 16, right? It's not my.
Yep, it'll just be your 16. Yep, that's correct.
Too many votes. What to do with it?
Oh, no.
I know.
So
Sorry,
I am
guys.
confused. Does that mean that you have actually all those votes all together, or these are just the special ones?
No,
for the
so I
Pontifex
have
for
so I have
wars?
16 normal votes, and then I
Yeah.
have 3
Battle
extra
votes.
for battles, and then
Yeah.
6 extra for laws. So they're kind of
Ooh,
different
yep, yep.
categories. So for general votes,
Cool.
pretty much only 16. So and then it's
Okay.
Right.
plus whichever ones are relevant for other proposals.
So for those playing along at home, so
Mhm.
these are just the additional votes that you can get to add on. And just to clarify for those playing at home, so the additional 6 we can see there is from Marcus Porcius Cato the Elder's card, where he gets an additional 6 votes when voting on specific law proposals, which are law cards that can be drawn in the deck. At the beginning of the game, I was trying to remember myself, but that's good points of clarity there. So yeah, good discussion. Sorry, so I've interrupted the vote there. My apologies, Rome Console. But yes, back to
all good.
Numerius Aurelius.
16 votes in favour.
Okay, and I will put my 13 votes in favour.
Well, that looks pretty fair weighted, I think. I think we have a
Yeah.
result.
It's definitely
so-
in favour.
All right, so
Welcome.
Before we make some moves, I just want to make sure that we get all of our admin. First of all, the current Rome and field consoles. Make sure you grab yourselves a prior console marker, please. I don't want you to forget that. Grab yourselves a prior console marker from the center. They're next to the corruption markers if you're looking for those, unless you've already got one that is.
Yeah.
Very good. I'll then get the very good, the Roman field console tokens of going back to the center. So I'd like the new consoles. If well, the new consoles should be discussing amongst themselves now about who's going to be who. And I think they both voted against it, so they're both a bit in shock, probably now discussing about what's happening. So, so we'll just give them a moment. And look, it's a bit unorthodox, but I'll also give the option to the consoles, and the consoles will need to collegially agree here. If the consoles want to, like we normally would, delay a week so they've got time to survey the board and think about their proposals, I'm happy if both the consoles agree for us to draw an end to our session and to give yourselves a week. But otherwise, take a minute or two here, and then we can continue on. But I'll leave that to the decision of our new consoles. Okay. Both consoles, while they're thinking and discussing amongst each other, they can probably add their influence because they're both the same. So for our newly console elects, if you'd like to go add 5 influence to your tallies while you're chatting there, because both the Rome console and Field console award 5 influence. Good, I can see the updates, and the Fuscus is there ready. Thank you, Mark Wedia, for your service last turn. Well done. And I'll tell you what, you're getting really efficient moving around the game board now compared to the old Roll20 interface. You're doing very well. So,
That's great.
I've just been watching you. You've been doing fantastic. You've come a long way.
Well, it helps when your tools are better.
Yeah. Yes. Software's better. Tools are better. That's good. All right. The consoles are scurrying away in the background, having a discussion about who's going to be who. Excellent. We will patiently wait in the background. This is where I can see that there may be a dice off, interestingly enough. So this occurs when the consoles can't agree on who is going to be who. And I guess generally it's going to be the highest who will get the outcome that they desire. So we'll see if it ends up going to a roll. I'm just watching the chat here, which you guys
it's dicing
may
off
not be able to see.
for the field consulship.
Yep.
It's dicing off for the field consulship. We agreed upon highest gets it.
Good.
Highest roll gets
Okay,
it.
you've agreed to the terms. All right. So we're going to see them dice off for the privilege of field console, I see.
All right, you're up first because I still got to continue writing.
Was it a 2d6 or what? What was it?
Whatever you like. 1, 2, 7, whatever you agree on.
Octavius,
7.
A
do you
D20.
prefer a
Really?
3d6 or what?
Take your pick. I'll just choose whatever you
3d6
choose.
sounds more interesting. There's more numbers there. I like a 3d6 personally. All right. The first
Okay, I
console, Appius Rufus, has rolled a 13. All right. So Quintus Octavius, in order to have the consularship he wants, will have to roll higher than 13. And he will roll a 10. With that, then, it sounds like you guys can assign your purple tokens, which are found in the center of the board. Fuscus will go to the Rome console. You guys have already added your influence, which is good. And don't forget to grab your little faction decorative banner and stick that in the middle there to show who's what position as well.
All right.
Grab Appius Rufus's and put that there. All right. Let's do our usual announcement affair. So if the field console wants to announce the new Rome console and the results of the dice off.
The Rome console, right? Does it, right?
The field console, we normally have introduced the Rome console.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I didn't use it anymore. Okay. Yeah, I welcome the leadership of the soon-to-be dictator Fabius Maximus, Dictator. Right?
Thank you
Or
very
not?
much.
Yes, okay. We will agree upon this, right?
We'll agree for now.
The problem is that we can't announce you as a dictator. But
All
That's the
right,
problem,
and
yeah.
I'll ask the obvious question directed at the Rome console, but again, I'll need a collegial decision between the consoles. Are you looking to pause, or are you happy to continue on this evening, there, consoles?
Oh, I'm happy to continue.
Perfect.
happy to
That's
continue,
and the
sure.
audience is happy too that you've agreed to continue. So now that you are now elected, you have the Fuscus, you get to sit on the special chair. You can proceed with your Senate phase there, Rome Consul.
Well, what's nice is since I am the Rome consul and the scribe, I can actually take my time with writing these.
Correct. There you go.
So everyone just have a think about the positions they're in, what's everything that's happened, and see what happens.
That's a good idea. Yep. Talk us through your thinking as you go along.
Right. Finish that section. Okay, where are we up to? Consuls, pontifex. I like our current pontifex. He's been quite well to us with succeeding. So we will keep him in his position. Dictatorship, 3 or more active wars, or over strength 20.
Do the
We
leaders
can-
count into? Do the leaders count to the strengths?
That is
in
true,
this?
but we do not have
Yeah.
the requirements at the moment.
So yeah, we currently fall short of the prerequisites to be able to appoint a dictator, so we'll be unable to do it this round.
Ah, the censor. Let's see.
All right. So while the Rome Consul has a look around the board, we're now going to conduct the elections of censor. And if we could put out the perhaps the ineligibility token. So let's identify straight off the bat who doesn't have a prior console marker or
Why
who
is
already
Scipio
has a major
one-
office.
One question. Why is Scipio
Yeah.
ineligible?
His influence is too high, and I don't want him to get any higher.
Ah,
I
but
will kill
okay,
him.
but the technical issue, you know,
That's funny.
That's so only let's, in order to not confuse the viewers, let's put the ineligible markers where they do not
Alright.
belong, right?
Who's grabbing stacks? Okay.
The problem is, if I may counsel on my home counsel, my friend, we should not. Normally, I would prefer to nominate him, but now, so only if we could make sure that the veto comes in. But if not, if we can't make sure that the veto comes in, we should don't nominate him now because he has too much money. He can outvote the rest of the Senate, I guess, with all his money, right? Or not?
Well, he can outvote everyone, dealing in all situations with one willing partner, which he might or might not have, depending on how deals have gone. So proceeding that way with his higher influence and automatically getting consul for life if he does become censor, he is ineligible.
We could make sure with the
Either
veto,
that
but
or
I don't
just
know.
kills him. Either way.
Yeah, but I don't know if the Pontifex would use his veto in this case. I don't know.
I don't think you can veto a consul for life.
Correct. If
If
it's
he
an
needs the
automatic
mandatory
appointment,
votes.
yeah, it can't be vetoed.
No,
not
I'm
mandatory votes,
speaking about the
mandatory influence.
censorship. I'm speaking about the censor, right? But you could veto a
Yeah,
censor.
censorship, he'll never get voted because
could.
I'll vote him and kill him.
Yeah, but it's only a chance to get him killed. So if this fails, but the veto is a for sure thing, right? You veto and that's not it.
Yeah, let's just have the Rome console decide. Cool.
All right, for those
I'm
watching along at
sure
home, the
good
Rome
for-
Consul is just weighing up his options about who he might nominate for censor. And as we develop through the course of a Republic of Rome board game, this becomes a more and more difficult task. And no doubt there's plenty of deals that are struck in the background, because obviously not only is there influence on the line for being elected to office, but also the power to nominate who goes to trial. So it becomes quite an interesting proposal through the course of the game.
I'll just write my proposal first.
I would like
Yeah,
to
that's
see
okay.
a prosecution. In the censor.
Prosecutions are no fun. Nobody likes going to jail.
I tell you what,
Oh, no.
But
They're
there
just
are
like
factions who can
assassination.
bribe. But there are factions who could bribe their way out of it, right? So, but they would in the term lose money. So we would need some prosecutions here, I guess.
It's very interesting. So, from the Republic of Rome board gaming community that's out there, and through the Discord, and seeing a lot of the other games that are played, you guys have the least amount of prosecutions out of any game ever played ever.
Well,
0.
I shall-
Yeah.
no, we have one. It just wasn't
Yeah,
a censor
yeah.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're all
we
too
did that
friendly with each other.
special.
So I would only
Everyone's
vote for
friendly
a
but me.
censor if he's willing to make a prosecution against some influential people.
I would like to put forward Alias from the Soulless faction, number 14, for censor. I shall put my magnificent 3 votes in favor.
That's the
And I
nay
will
side there,
call-
Rome console. Just checking you put that on the
Oh,
right
yeah.
side. Yep.
You
Couldn't
know,
see
we'll
the,
put that in the yay favor.
Couldn't see the Pro Console one for a minute there with the nominee.
Yeah.
It's
You were
about to
looking
say,
for
yeah.
He's fine. He's lovable. I will call for the House of Aquila. Aquila?
Oh.
Ready? Your votes?
My votes. No. 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 No.
Difficult decisions.
It is a difficult decision. It is a very difficult decision.
You best be quick, though. I'm not sure how ruthless this Rome console is.
We'll see. Make sure to announce votes.
13 nay.
Alright, we shall call for Tiberius Cornelius.
22 against.
A lot of votes already. Alright, we shall call from... Make this interesting. Let's go out of order. We shall go for Numerous Aurelius.
Yep. Oh, wait, sorry guys. Yeah. Got a new widescreen monitor, so I'm playing this windowed. So just a technical difficulty. Dragging the accidentally resized it. That was. Oh, shit. Sorry.
Good roll.
That was
Trick
yeah,
shot.
Just ignore that. That can be 16 votes in favour.
Uh-huh.
Alright, and I shall call from the Soulless faction.
I'll place my 13 votes in favour of the proposal.
So the question is, will Marcus Decimus agree to public agreement to prosecute senators here? Or
Yes.
not?
Well, as the Rome consul, we already have one going. So, let's do this agreement. Since I control the board right now, let's be chaotic. We can either go to war or not. Your choice.
So then,
I'll call from
we will not
your
make public agreements?
house.
Then I will
Appius
vote
Rufus.
no. Okay.
All right. Okay. It shall be an interesting session. The vote fails.
All right. One down. Those that just missed what happened, the first proposal from the Rome console failed. It was a split vote there. So now we can't have that same candidate put forward this turn. So he now becomes ineligible for any future censor proposals. So now the Rome console has nominated his next option, again from the same faction of Marcus Decimus.
What's its number again? It's 8, is it not? It is.
8 is correct.
I don't even memorize them all. Alright, I shall put forward another proposal from the Soulless faction again for Fulvius. Or is it Fulvius? Furious.
I think it's Furious, actually, isn't it? Yeah,
It is
Furious.
Furious. I shall hear from your votes, Appius Rufus.
So again, there's no public agreement upon our factions to prosecute.
I
I'm
never
going
said
There will
to
not
anything
be
about
any
no
make-
public agreements.
I'm going to prosecute.
Yeah, but we have to make up a public agreement now with other
Why do we have to
actors
make a public
here.
agreement without him prosecuting?
Hmm?
It doesn't need to be a public agreement.
Okay, then
However, I
to
have
vote
called
no.
for your votes, so please place them.
Yes.
I like this. Rome Consul putting his foot down.
Okay. So 4 against. I shall call for Tiberius Cornelius to put his votes forward.
Who's the nominee?
It is Furious from the Soulless faction.
Thank you. 22 against.
I shall put my 3 votes in favor. I shall call for Marcus Decimus.
I'll place
Decimus
my
to continue.
13 votes in favour of the proposal.
I shall call for Numerus Aurelius.
16 votes against.
No fun. I shall call for Marco Aurelio.
I was curious about what we were saying about war, and also I was curious as to why the change.
It's good questions.
It's
It is
obvious why the
easy.
change, because he is more influential now, the candidate. That's the reason.
Hmm.
You can always abstain.
I'm going to abstain.
Ah. There we go. Another failed proposal there, but otherwise no issues. Another split vote.
Well, that was definitely not split. Let's see.
All right. Let's see what the Rome Consul comes up for his next censor proposal. Can he sway the behemoth that is the Corona faction?
Yeah, right. That is the one main question.
What is the loss of influence in a minor prosecution?
5. If I recall correctly. And loss of all tokens such as prior console marker, for example.
What about money?
I believe money stays unless it's death.
Yeah, I think you're right there.
Okay.
Yeah, you just lose.
Money stays, yeah.
Yeah, money stays.
But in order to avoid the condemnatio, he would put money into it, I guess, in order to bribe the votes.
True.
I shall put forward Flaminius from the Aquila faction, number 13.
Flaminius, yes.
Tiberius Cornelius, can I have your votes?
22 in favour.
Marcus Decimus, can I have your votes?
13 in favour.
Mark Willier, can I have your votes?
13 votes in favour.
Alright, we'll now do the sporting part of it. Marcus Decimus, your votes, please.
Have I not already voted?
Oh, sorry. Not
Did you
Marcus.
mean
Numerous Aurelius. Yes, I did.
me? I was
You're
thinking I
both on the
misheard
edge of
my
my
name.
screen.
Yeah, that's all right. I was thinking that's not my name, is it? I'll just put my 16 against.
Alright. Appius Rufius?
Yeah, it's going through it anyway, and it's with 8 influence not the worst thing.
Who says it's about the influence? I shall abstain. Alright, the vote passes, so you are now our censor, and the floor goes to you for now.
There we go. All right, so let's slowly remove all the ineligible tokens back to the pile, and we'll allow time for Marco Wedia to add 5 influence to Flaminius with the new censor token, which I'll bring across for you. Take that red nominee token away there. Fantastic. And I'll put one of those up there to show our new censor. Excellent. I like a good a long hearty discussion in the Senate on I see multiple proposals, lots of split decisions in the Senate. It's almost like there's 2 factions forming. How unusual. All right. Marco Wedia, have you given the 5 influence to Flaminius?
Not yet.
Make sure he gets his 5. Don't want you missing out. That's it. Go ahead and add that.
Numerius, Aurelius, and Machiavelli faction. They vote counts. Yeah, okay.
Thank you.
Good.
Lost
All right,
in
everyone's
the
got their-
post-voting haze.
Vote. Markers back out the front there. Nice. Tidying up. Good. Keeping our board tidy. Brilliant. All right. Do we temporarily lose Numerius Aurelius? Is he coming back, is he?
He had disconnect,
yes.
seems.
Just reconnecting.
Cool. We'll see him back shortly. That'll give time for Marco Wedia to consider whether she'll proceed with any prosecutions or not, and then if she does, which senators may face the pointy end. Good. You haven't missed anything there, Numerius Aurelius. The censor is just considering her options right now.
Awesome.
Yes, difficult decisions to be made.
Very
Do we
difficult
continue with the coup de
decisions to
grace?
be
No doubt
made.
making perhaps deals in the background or having discussions with fellow senators. And like I said, folks, before, I'm not in a rush, right? Yes, this is streaming live, but it's kind of like those online chess tournaments that people watch, and they're not necessarily fast. And you know that the chess world's going off at the moment with all the controversy, and ours has got all the good drama elements to it. So the pauses are at a great dramatic effect to our stream, if anything, I think.
The best part about those streams is where it's half hour per move, and then like the chess commentators like talk about all the different moves they think they could do. Then the move that the players actually do sets them off in a whole different direction, and they got to restart their conversation of what direction they think it's going to go.
Yeah, it's always really funny. Oh, I didn't think of that one.
Yeah.
How many points is a major prosecution? Is it 10?
When you say points, what do you mean?
Like influence. What happens with a major prosecution?
Death.
No, it's death.
Death happens.
Death.
Yeah, major prosecution is death. Yeah.
So it's all of the points.
Yeah, it's all of the points. Correct. Whereas with the minor, you were saying it was 8?
5, I believe.
5.
Yeah, it's 5. Yeah.
Okay, and when you do a prosecution, you have to have somebody who does the prosecution. And
Yes, in all cases, you need to have a willing prosecutor, and the defendant can, if they like, appoint or have an advocate speak on their behalf. If not, it'll be
or
the
they can do
defendant
it.
themselves.
But with a minor prosecution, is it only the loss of influence? Is there any basically other ramifications?
Influence tokens and loss of concessions as well.
Okay, so if there's any concession cards, they get lost as well too.
That is correct. What will the censor do? We need some dramatic escalating music, I
We
think.
could.
Need the Jeopardy beeping or whatever.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Just the Jeopardy thing.
Dun, 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 dun. And the person who does the prosecution, do they get extra points?
So they can receive half fraction rounded up of the influence lost by the defendant if the prosecution
So they
is
get like
successful.
2 extra points.
Only in the case of the major or not major prosecution. Only in this case or not.
Well, it is for minor, but it's not much. It is for minor as well, but for major, it can be quite a lot. So, for example, if you successfully prosecuted Scipio Africanus, half fractions rounded up of 31 is a significant amount of influence to gain as a prosecutor. So that can be a little bit of an egg to attract in a willing prosecutor, assuming they're successful.
Okay, and if I would do that, I'd get to nominate the person who could do the prosecution.
They have to be willing.
To start with, you'll need to nominate whether you're proceeding with prosecutions first, their censor,
Okay.
and what and how many, or well, rather, what is your first prosecution is going to be, and then you can call for prosecutors. I mean, of course, privately in the background, I guess you could be sussing out who might be wanting to be a prosecutor.
So
but
in the
formally,
case of a minor prosecution, the consequences are the accused loses 5 popularity, 5 influence,
yep,
and any prior console marker, and must return all concessions to the forum.
But then
right.
they
Yes, we
keep
forgot
their
the
money.
popularity. That's true.
But they keep the money.
Yes,
They keep their
they
money.
keep the money.
They keep the money.
Wonder who that's about.
I'm in need. They're prosecuting.
How much money are we going to need to send power for fending those troops?
Don't know. You probably want at least maybe 10 legions, 9 legions, and you need fleets as well. So
Do we have enough money for that?
yeah, well, we have the Allied enthusiasm coming next turn, and that's
True.
50, so I think it's the 50 is the minimum, if I'm remembering correctly. So that event that happens is 50. So pretty much we would have that 50, so we wouldn't fall even if we spent a lot of money.
And also note too that the Senate may also be wanting to consider garrison legions for provinces as well.
Yeah,
They
I
consider
guess
valuable to protect from
that's-
barbarian raids.
Very point.
Yes, lots to think about.
we do not even have the minimum amount of fleet in order to prosecute the Macedonian War, for example.
Okay. So we will be
Expenditure
needing
to be
some
had.
extra money as well too.
What have we got? 155 in the treasury right now. Yeah, it's not small, but it's not large either, is it? More
Yeah, and remember
discussions
that you have
occurring in
to
the background.
first to send the field consul out. You have to first send the field consul out,
True.
and then you can send the Rome consul. And if, for example, you would send the field consul, he would need also fleets, and you have to deduct those fleets which he would send it from the other war. So what would you need for the other war?
Thankfully, the fleet support required for the Jurgentine War is only 2, and only 5 is required for the Second Macedonian. So that's good. There's no naval battles required for either of those, so they're fully land battles. So that's good.
Yeah, I imagine you just clear the Macedonian one first, right?
The first Macedonian's a bit more of a thorn in the side. It requires 10 fleet support.
Yeah, so I would imagine you clear the second Macedonian, then the
All hoping.
Jugotine, and then
Yeah.
the first. That's just my thoughts on the matter.
But we find ourselves sidetracked as we await for the censor to make her decision. Those watching along at home, the good censor is holding some discussions in the background with her fellow senators as to the decision that she's going to make. And it's always an important one as to, 1, whether she'll proceed with any prosecutions at all, and then 2, if she is proceeding with prosecutions, who is to be prosecuted and for what level. Of course, she has a couple of different decisions. She can make 2 minor prosecutions or 1 major prosecution.
Okay, so I'm going to call for a minor prosecution, and I am going to call. Where are we? So, how is it that I call upon somebody to nominate themselves to do the prosecution?
I think you probably have to choose a target first, right?
Yeah,
That's a good idea.
Yes, you have to first choose a target.
and then you can ask if anyone wants to do it.
Okay, so I'm going to. There is Scipio Africanus.
Aha. Scipio Africanus is now the subject of a minor prosecution due to his corruption marker, which makes him both eligible for a major and a minor prosecution, or rather, in this case, it'll be a minor as nominated by the censor.
Okay, so it's a minor prosecution. And Plautius is also going to nominate himself to do the prosecuting.
And when you say Plautius, who's going to nominate himself?
Yeah.
Over here, I see.
Yep.
All right, so I'm going to use the sponsor and co-sponsor. No, actually, we have prosecutor and advocate tokens here. Look, so we've got the prosecutor token over here. So Plautius has nominated himself as prosecutor from your own faction, and that is perfectly acceptable. All right. Now, I guess you can ask the defendant if you'd like, give him some time to find himself an advocate, should he so desire. I guess you can ask the question directly, censor, if the defendant wishes to find
Tiberius, would you like to have an advocate?
No, he can represent himself.
Oh, he's going to represent himself, and fair enough.
Yeah.
So
That's what all lawyers recommend, don't they?
That's right.
They do.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
They do.
All right, now just letting you know, censor, you're running the show here. All right, so you're in charge of doing the calculations and everything. I'll give you some pointers along the way, however.
I'm going to call, okay, upon it, Palladius goes first.
First of all, let's refresh ourselves
Yep.
on the formula. Are you happy with
Yep.
what the formula for prosecutions is?
No, sorry.
So let's
I've
look
got to
at
go back to it.
page
Yep.
2 of our cheat sheet. And you will see there is a little formula for prosecutions. And it says the final vote is equal to any popular appeal. And of course, that is an option that Tiberius Cornelius can take on his turn to vote. He can choose to take a popular appeal. And to the vote tally, right? And the best way to think about this is votes for the prosecution and votes against the prosecution, so as to not confuse the two. The defendant gets to add his influence to the votes against prosecution. We will also see the advocate and the prosecutor through the trial votes there, which is, you can see, a 2d6 plus the advocate minus the prosecutor's votes. So we'll take that into the equation as well. And of course, the Senate's vote as well, which will come into play. So the order, and technically you actually started doing it correctly, is you'll start with the Senate vote, and you can certainly announce a running tally. Then, provided there's no popular appeal that was called upon, you'll then have the advocate and the prosecutor dice off, or rather the 2d6 is rolled, and then the result is tallied based on the oratory of those two individuals, and that is added to the final tally along with the influence of the defendant. Are you happy with all that?
Okay.
Like I said, we'll talk it through. Just make sure you go, and I suggest that others in the room, particularly the defendant as well, is probably making notes on the votes as they come out. And no doubt our scriber is probably also doing the same, Quintus Octavius, because sometimes people can get confused with the language, and perhaps as each of the factions vote, I suggest you use the language, I am voting X amount of votes for the prosecution, or I'm voting X amount of votes against the prosecution. You could also use terms like, I find him 13 votes guilty, or 13 votes not guilty if you desire as well, just to make it really clear which side those votes are going. Okay? All right,
Is there a
Sensor,
calculator
back-
for this? Anyway,
so we don't yet have a prosecution tool yet. I think that's something that will eventually be considered by the developers of this module, but not yet. So this is, and it's probably good that we do it by hand anyway, just to make sure we're sure of the outcome. So Sensor, over to you when you're ready, if there's no further questions from the floor.
Sensor, I have a question, if that's all right to ask you. I
Yep.
just wanted to know what he's accused of.
So basically, in this situation, he's accused of basically not paying taxes. And so what happens is the government, as part of the redistribution of money and power, often takes taxes. So it's part of the process of ensuring peace and harmony within the greater community of when we take tax.
Here, taxes, here.
Sounds a bit communistic to me, but I'll bite my tongue.
Console will neither confirm or deny this.
Okay, so do we do votes first or the prosecution first?
So you'll go through with your Senate votes first, and noting
Those are
when it comes
speakers.
turn to Tiberius Cornelius, he'll make a decision to either vote, veto, or ask for popular appeal at that time.
I'm feeling
I
like
mean,
a
you can see
Capone
the
at
results of
moment.
the popular appeal before casting a veto too.
Scipio Al Capone over here. Get him on his taxes.
Will the censor invite, the defendant to say a few words in his defense?
Would you like to say some words, Tiberius?
I haven't received a brief on the charge yet.
There hasn't been enough tax paid, and so this is a tax bill like Shakira got, like 10 years later, because basically the government said 10 years later that you apparently didn't pay taxes, but it might have been to do with your mother-in-law, so I'm not sure.
So
I'm
the
concerned
charge
that
is too wealthy.
the prosecutor has noticed that a windfall gain has come the way of Scipio,
Yes.
yet the tax year hasn't yet ended. So he hasn't had a chance to pay his taxes.
There's tax on lotto in the US.
It's a convincing point.
Well, other people are getting very
Several-
jealous. The peasants are rising up in the streets. It's, it's the
peasants
French
love
Revolution
Scipio.
all
I would like
again.
proof of
He's
this.
a war hero.
So your defense is that you will make contributions to the state in order to further increase your influence in order to get automatically appointed the first man in the state.
This is the bind that
That's
he
really
finds
your
himself in
that's
over here.
really your defense.
See, this is the problem, though. What you don't
Scipio
realize is when he wins, because he most likely will due to his influence.
I'd like to imagine that considering he's the one being his own advocate, he keeps calling himself in the third person. Scipio
Yeah.
said this.
Yes.
Your Honor, my client.
Scipio
But think
I was
about
going to
only
laugh.
ever-
I was like,
Scipio
I'm not
doesn't
sure-
like your attitude.
I was going to say, I'm
Very
not
right.
sure what you do for work,
Scipio's-
but I look at you and I think, oh, you do look like a lawyer. So I'm like,
If he
Not
wins,
bad.
though, he's already at 34 influence, so no matter what happens, he wins, he donates, whatever, he has enough. So either he dies this Senate session, or he can donate some money, and then he'll still be consul for life.
Scipio stands on his record for Rome. He has served in major overseas war against the most blasted enemy of all, Carthage, and come
no,
home with the
don't want
scars
your
to show it. He lives only for the service of Rome, not for the service of himself. The wealth that you see was donated kindly to him by the neighbouring faction. He had
Yes,
no
I
wealth
believe
prior
our
to that.
censor is just corrupt. Do not worry.
He had no wealth prior to that at all. So do not look at his recent gains as being somehow representing his personal objectives. He has none. His objectives are only for Rome, and only ever will be for Rome. And so Scipio throws himself on the mercy of the Senate to allow him to continue to serve Rome in the way that he knows and the way that he shall continue to do if given the opportunity.
If he would really
Thank you
care
so
about the
much.
Commonwealth, he would
well,
go
thank
to
you
in-
so
into
much
exile.
for talking about your service. And one thing of service is around how we think about other people and how we think about the greater good and how it is that our behavior impacts other people. And with this in mind, I know deep down he does understand what the right thing and the just thing to occur is. And in this case, when a behavior occurs, there is a consequence. And this is the consequence of not paying your taxes many, many years ago.
As I'll reiterate that he hadn't received a tax bill and he was broke until this very turn.
I would also just like out of the game moment, the scribe would like to know what the official charge is.
Not paying
Tax
his
Like,
avoidance.
is the charge
taxes.
just he's too wealthy?
Yes.
Correct.
Like, is the charge just he's too wealthy?
He Jeff Bezos the Senate.
Yeah, he didn't
Got it.
pay enough tax.
He became Amazon's CEO.
Yeah.
It's in the notes. It's official.
Don't worry, getting divorced would
Yes,
fix
he's
that.
CEO of Amazon.
Just tall poppy syndrome.
Yes, it's very common here in Australia. Yeah.
We voting?
Yep. Thank you. So I would like to call for votes firstly from Marcus Decimus.
I place my 13 votes in favour of the prosecution.
Next, I call Numerius Aurelius.
I would like to. Oh shit! Sorry. Oh, good. This. Veto.
Oh, interesting.
Okay.
Are you using the Pontifex
Yes,
veto? Is that what you're using there?
Yeah, this one here. Yeah.
Yes.
So
sweet
just
deal.
flip it. Flip it.
Well,
Thank you.
there we go.
Oh.
Well,
Bum, bum, bum.
Here we
that
have him, the
quashes that pretty
kingmaker.
quick.
Pardon?
I would call him now Kingmaker.
Kingmaker. There we go. Well, I was
You
looking
sound
for.
jealous.
I was looking for a really good climax there, but nonetheless, we were vetoed from underneath. Good play, I think. At least it was good discussion. So the censor still has an option to proceed with a second minor prosecution, should she so desire. Thank you, umpires. Thank you, bull boys. That was good. Just temporarily putting the prosecutor and advocate tokens back for the moment while the censor considers her position.
While she does that, I'd just like to recognise the Palmer faction. I acknowledge that it also works in the favour and the service of Rome, and look forward to cooperating in the interests of Rome against enemies internal and external.
Thank you, but I'd just like to publicly state that I don't see a tax law bill, and that was my primary hold-up.
So, okay, internal enemies. Okay.
That was a great post-media conference there, gentlemen. Well done.
The Roman Revenue Service. RRS.
I'm just letting you know, folks, as well. I am watching the clock, and I think I'll make a call today that at the end of the Senate phase, we'll call an end to our session today. Okay.
That might be a good idea.
Don't feel
with
the
how
need
long
to
this is
rush.
going.
Don't feel the need to rush the rest of our Senate phase. Take your time, and when we conclude the Senate phase, we'll conclude our session for the day. Okay. All right. So those watching along at home, the current censor, Marta Wedia, has just seen her first minor prosecution of Scipio Africanus fall flat thanks to a veto from Numerius Aurelius from the Palmer faction. So now, if she wants, she has the option of pursuing a second minor prosecution on another senator if she desires, and that's what she's currently contemplating.
How does one go about the popular appeal?
Cool. So the popular appeal process is essentially a die roll based on or using the addition of the popularity of the senator in question. If you actually scroll up to the bottom right hand of the map, you can actually see some results up there. So you can see the trial result, which is when the orator and the prosecutor and the advocate dice off with each other. They can see that the change in votes, which includes the oratory, but the one we were talking about at the moment is the popular appeal result. So this one,
but he could basically still get killed.
Right,
he could kill himself.
If their popularity is bad. If the popularity is really good, that's less likely to be an outcome. But there's additional consequences, particularly if they get greater than or equal to 12 on the popular appeal. And if you see the note down the bottom, if the accused is freed as a part of a popular appeal process, a number of mortality chits are drawn, versing both the censor and prosecutor to see if they are attacked by an angry mob at the outrage of the fix-up that was the trial. So that is an option that all senators have that they can take. So on their turn to vote, and they can actually see the results of a popular appeal before they choose to use a veto too, by the way. I just want to add that in there. But if they choose not to vote, they can instead take a popular appeal, and that is taken into account as well. Now, I just used the term instead of their votes. It's probably worth checking the rules just to make sure I'm not saying a furphy there. Is it in addition to their votes or instead of their votes, the popular appeal? We should just double check that, make sure I haven't said something wrong. But yeah, that is an option if they think their popularity is good to help them in such a role.
Yeah, well, the gentleman we just tried to prosecute, I think he had +9 or 9, if I'm not incorrect. So I mean, if you look at the table, 2d6 plus 9, 3 or above on that is just instantly freed.
Yeah,
that's a pretty high chance.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, so.
But yeah, generally a popular appeal can go either way if they're like a 0 popularity, right? But yeah, if they've got positive popularity, they get harder and harder to prosecute because I think most will aim to use a popular appeal to get votes against the prosecution. So it's funny here. You see plus votes, but that means against the prosecution, and so that's where it can get confusing sometimes.
Okay.
Being popular pays off.
Moving on then.
All right. Sounds like is that your call, Sensor?
That's it.
All right. And what's the final announcement that you have to make before you hand over the baton of Imperium?
Congratulations, Scipio Africanus, on surviving.
Not quite. I was looking for something
No.
administrative.
Back to you, console.
No,
Gen
before
console.
that.
Um,
What do you do with all the corruption markers?
Free us
flip
all
over
our
your
guilt.
corruption markers. Nobody's
Very good.
corrupt anymore.
Thank you.
Everybody
Sensor.
paid their taxes.
Thank you for the reminder, Sensor. Everybody to return their corruption markers back now. You've all got a clean bill of health. Let's see, just waiting for Numerius Aurelius to return his one corruption marker there, and so for Marcus Decimus.
I guess before we move on, we just wait for.
Oh no,
Marcus
Marcus Decimus is for a governorship. Is that right?
That is correct.
Thank you. Yeah, governors can't remove their corruption markers if you're a corrupt governor. Sorry.
I can if you want me to. All right.
Yeah. No. Okay, so let's pass the baton back to the Rome console, which is over here with Quintus Octavius. Very
I'd like to
good.
play a Tribune card, please.
Oh, yeah, absolutely you can. Talk us through it.
I'd like to move a motion that both raises legions and fleets and commits them to war in the same motion, if that's
So
possible.
I'll just pause you there. You can't do both
It's
of
not
those at the
possible.
same time. So raising has to be separate from deployment. So would you like to proceed with a tribune for a raising of forces?
Yes, I would. Yes.
Okay.
So,
So if you just want to articulate that again for the floor.
so I'd like to raise. What's the maximum amount of legions that we can raise?
So
In active?
at the moment, you've got 4 spare in the Legion bag, plus another 4 which are currently disbanded, but you can raise those. It just means those that own the disbanded legions will lose them. So if you raise any more than 4 legions right now, we'll start eating into the disbanded legions.
That's fine. I've got 2 of those disbanded. I'm happy to bring those veteran legions as well, aren't they?
Okay. That,
I've just got to ask, what has happened since the first prosecution?
There's been the
there was
second
only that
prosecution didn't
first
go through.
prosecution. The censor decided not to proceed with the second.
And we
Got
just
it.
came back
And
to
then
the start
what's
of the.
going on now?
We just came back to the
A
start of the
tribune
final
card
as a
has been
tribute.
played.
Yeah, Tiberius Cornelius has just played a tribune card to raise some forces. He's just articulating that for us now.
So I would like to, for the 10th and the 3rd Legion, who are loyal to Scipio and disbanded, I'd like to return those to active service.
So I think you may not be able to do that right now because I think it requires you to be
You
console.
were not able
Oh,
to.
okay.
That is
Yeah.
correct.
Right.
I mean, you had the money to do so, but yes, I'm happy for somebody to rule check me there, but I believe you have to be console in order to be able to
You
raise
do
a
have to be.
disbanded
We
legion.
had a full discussion about that.
Yeah, there we go. So yeah, unfortunately, you won't be able to raise those veteran legions.
That's okay. So I'll want to raise the maximum amount of legions that we have available, which is, did you say 4?
8 if you want to eat into your disbanded legions.
Yeah, we'll raise 8. And in order to prosecute this war, we need 5 fleet support of 5, right? Is that right?
Yep, that is correct for that Second Macedonian War. It's 5 fleet support. That is correct.
So the motion is to raise 8 legions and 3 fleets. Do we need any additional fleets in reserve? That's usually good policy, isn't it? From memory.
So just think about how much money is that? That's 8 and 5. Oh no, 8 and 3. So that's 100.
We've got allied enthusiasm.
Yeah, probably raise at least 3
Well.
more, I would imagine. Well, that would leave enough, right? Because you have to have half as many to prosecute it, or you need the full amount to prosecute it after.
Yeah, you just need to have a minimum, the minimum amount, because if you don't have the required fleet support and you lose the war for whatever reason, it's considered unprosecuted.
Right. So that would be 8 fleets then, is that right? Would we, or is it 9? Or
You would need
So
10. I
you,
think.
yeah,
10.
you can remind yourselves by looking at the combat results table to see what
believe
sort
it's
of losses
7.
you'll incur depending on the role.
But he doesn't add. Philip doesn't add his strength to the fleets, does he? Or he does. Oh no, that's not a naval battle. No, sorry.
I think we should at least raise 5 fleets.
I also just want to highlight, just as a strategic point for the whole Senate to consider, sometimes it's not good to absolutely monster the enemy either, because if something goes wrong, i.e. like a disaster or standoff, then you actually are sacrificing more forces than perhaps what you needed to. So just be wary about if you don't send like 25 legions to attack a strength 8 war. That would be silly. Because you risk losing a lot of legions for no good reason there, when you could have easily defeated the war with a smaller amount. Just bear that in mind as you process how you're going to step forwards here for these wars.
There's no kill like overkill.
That's right.
So what's the we've got a war calculator here, don't we?
You do, yeah.
So
So those watching along at home, you can see on screen we've got a combat calculator. The Tribune, who's putting a proposal forwards to raise some forces, is just considering, I guess, how they may be utilised against the wars that are on the board, which is the Jurgentine War, or Jurgenthine War, if you want to say it that way, and the Second Macedonian, potentially even prosecuting both this turn. So we'll see what the Tribune's final proposal is before we continue.
Just curious, where are we getting 26 from?
From all around Rome.
Yeah,
From
be
the
great.
farms,
Just pick
from
up
the
some random
fields.
guy and throw at him. Yeah, be good. Noble sacrifice, farming. Throw.
While there's some dead air, Game Master, wanted to have a question about the barbarian raids numbers.
Oh yeah, let's have a look.
The event. I was just trying to do some calculations on it.
Oh, yeah, what
I
do you got?
believe the military forces should be calculated as garrison legions plus military of your governor on top of your fraction, with then the the innate military force of the garrison plus 2 at the bottom, rounded down or rounded up to equal the military force.
It sounds like you flipped the fraction.
Yeah, but I
on
believe the
the-
other way doesn't make sense. If you had it the other way, the more garrisons you have, your lower your fraction would be. If you had your denominator increasing in size, it would lower your chance.
So it's a roll of a 2d6. So this is talking about the military force of the province. So it's all positive, is it not? So you got the strength of the province plus 2 divided by the garrison legion plus the military rating of the governor. So well, let's look at an example. Let's see if you're right.
Well, let's do Sicily because I kind of know the numbers.
So
I got
what's
an innate. The province has an innate strength of 2. So
Okay.
2 plus 2 is 4 on your top.
Right.
Then you got garrison plus the military of the governor, which is 7 plus 3. So it will be 4 over 10.
4 over 10, and what's that give us? 2 over 5. Rounded, let's say rounded up.
Rounded up would be 1.
So if we had less garrison legions, a military
Then
force
would increase.
Yeah, right. That's very interesting.
So I propose that it's the other way around,
Yeah.
because then it would make sense that if it was flipped the other way around, then I would get a 2.5 because it'll be 10 over 4. And as you got more garrison legions, the larger the number would be.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, that's.
Well, we are gonna have a break until this comes into effect, so there might be something
Yeah.
for our
Maybe Avalon
sponsors.
Hill might be
How
back
back
at
so?
home.
We will play till the end of the forum of the Senate phase, and that means barbarian raids. We cannot react to them after the Senate phase.
Yeah, because it will be at the start of the revenue phase next. But yeah, so
Yeah, but we have to beforehand decide in the
Yeah,
Senate
yeah.
about the garrisons.
So I'd like to bring us back to the Tribune card, if that's okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
We'll
Yes.
discuss
So
that one later.
the Tribune proposal is to raise 5 legions and 5 fleets for a cost of 100, I believe.
Okay,
makes sense.
there it is on the board. So now it returns to the Rome console to run a vote for that. So the proposal is 5 legions and 5 fleets. Is that right, Tribune?
Yes.
All right, and the scriber, you're happy with that?
Yes, the scriber is happy with that.
All right, Rome consoles. Now for you to cast and call for votes in the order you choose.
All right. Right. So 5 legions. When we go over 4, we start to eat into our veterans, don't we?
By 1, yes.
Worth noting that Tiberius has 2 of those. Just in
So
terms
he
of
cannot do
odds.
anything about that.
No, they get drawn off him, don't they?
Yes,
I
they do
imagine
get
we would
taken away
roll a
from
die
him,
to
but-
see which one we
Oh
use.
yeah. But I mean, I'm just talking in terms of odds here, right?
We'll use our determine destroy legion fleet's drawback to work out which of the legions gets recalled.
So 9, we're going for 24 power. Okay. I don't think you can randomly send someone else off to war.
He has to be the field consul if you want
Does
to
he-
send him now.
No, I didn't want to disrupt it. That's why I put it in the chat. But it just was a question of whether, like, if you had a proposal, would that work? I was just thinking that.
You could only
Game
propose
Master,
the
would
field
that work?
consul now in this phase of the game for being sent away.
Yeah, so you can't make a proposal for someone random.
It
So
has
we're
to
gonna
be
go to a
field
vote, yes?
console and Rome console. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, cool.
So someone can't put a proposal down and be like, hey, I want to send this person with this thing.
No, I'm afraid not. It's always the field
Alright.
console followed by the Rome console, or both being deployed together to 2 separate wars. Or they could even go to the same war, but it has to be fought one at a time. So the field console fights first, and then if the outcome is not a victory, then the Rome console would fight. So you got some options, but it always has to be field followed by Rome console.
Can I invite the console to take control of the chamber and bring it to a vote?
The console was curious about that question, so
You can't force the consul. He can decide when he wants to vote and so on.
I think you just asked.
Alright. Yeah, I was just curious about that. So, all right, since you played the Tribune, we'll start with you first. Tiberius Canonis, your votes.
22 in favour.
Marcus Decimus,
I'll place my 13 votes in favour.
Numerous Aurelius,
And just to check, this isn't my battle votes, correct?
no,
Correct,
but is there something that gets extra votes for raising troops?
It's for
Or is
the
that
deployment of forces.
deployment of forces? Okay,
Yeah.
so it's just standard.
Yeah, just 16 in favour, I guess.
I shall put my 3 votes standing. I shall call for Marco Elliott.
13 in favour.
And
I guess I'm
Appius Rufus.
in favor. Four in favor.
All right.
A clear
There we-
victory.
Armament
So,
and
Pontus?
fleet. Armaments and fleet binding, ship binding, right? Now
Yeah, if you've got those concessions, folks, yeah,
I get
cash it up.
15.
Hey, thanks for
Yep.
reminding me.
One of the only times that you can get money outside of the revenue phase is if you've got the armaments and or fleet concessions.
So we raised 5.
Yeah,
Uh,
five.
Yeah, 2
5
talents
each.
per new legion raised, 2 5s are 10. So you'll get 10 talents for the amount of legions raised.
I have
Okay.
got
Appius.
15 talents for 5 fleets times 3.
Oh yeah, 3 5s. Yeah, that's right. Yours is worth a bit. Nice.
Can so we be checking the taxes for that next round?
Hey, Game Master,
Yes.
is that a mini yellow token right there?
Where are you looking? Sorry.
Where I'm ping.
Haven't been kidding. You got
I
to clean
think
the Senate.
I think it is. It looks like it, doesn't
I
it?
don't know.
What is
It's
it?
like, is it a spot? I'm just
Yeah.
checking how well you cleaned
Oh,
the
it's
place.
a pen mark. I reckon.
Ah,
Somebody's trying to
it
draw
is.
something. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Looks
it's
like
funny. Yeah, it's hovering above the ground, so I think it's a pen mark.
Yeah, I would say so too.
Fascinating find. There we go.
Oh, is
Clearly, you
someone
guys
else running a troop
aren't
now?
busy enough. You're finding random.
I've just dropped my tribune in the. in the
Oh,
front
okay,
of the-
cool. So let's
Yeah,
double
that's
check we've
relevant.
raised our legions. Somebody wants to pull the 4 out of the bag, and then I'll work out which one of the 5 was raised here. There we go. Who owns the first legion as a loyal legion?
That would be first. I don't.
Who owns
I
the
think our
first?
first is already out.
Yeah, you've well, the first was disbanded apparently.
It's here.
Yeah, I just put it there.
My
But
first was
yours,
never disbanded.
we had you. Was yours disbanded?
No, he has the
Nope.
third or not? The third.
No.
I
So
didn't
why
get it.
was
My first was
the
never
one in the disbanded pile? Maybe was that our veterans? Or
Yeah,
was
maybe it was
separate?
just a mix up between the third and the first.
Yeah, it looks like the third is disbanded, not
Yeah.
the first.
Just a mix up between the third and the first.
Oh, so the third and the first were mixed up. So let's swap them over.
The first
So who
legion
owns-
is with the first legion is with Maximus.
Yeah, Who owns
but
the
it's
third
never,
legion?
It's not disbanded.
I've got the third legion.
Oh, okay. So you'll be able to remove your loyalty marker now for the third legion. Now the third legion's raised as a standard legion in the forces. Did somebody grab the fleets already?
Yes.
Good.
Now, does he lose the oratory and influence from that?
He will. Yes.
Okay.
But he has to deduct it now, right?
Yeah, because it's a part of the token.
Yeah,
You
because
lose
you
the
have to
token,
remove
you lose the buff.
one influence and one. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah. Let's go with that for the moment because that makes the most logical sense. But something was tingling to say maybe not. I can follow that up. But for the moment, yes, he'll lose
Yeah.
one oratory again and the one influence. All right. I think we're good to proceed with the tribune now from Numerus Aurelius. Numerus Aurelius, your tribune has the floor. Is he mute? I think he's mute.
Sorry. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. So my proposal is to send the field console and all available forces and fleets off to prosecute the Second Macedonian War.
Okay,
right.
I will try a
Can I just reject him?
assassination
Oh,
attempt.
someone's done
Yeah,
an
you can. Let's.
assassination.
All right, everyone. The assassination's just been called.
Going by the field
me,
console
don't
is
worry.
trying to assassinate Scipio Africanus.
Let's go.
All right. So
Oh, Jesus.
the target is amazingly Scipio Africanus. He can't catch a break. With Valerius
As the reigning assassin champion so far.
as the field
This is
console
a
doing the
horrible
assassination
idea.
attempt. This is fascinating. This is
This
very
is
fascinating.
horrible.
All right. So let's go
By
up
all
to the
means.
towards the assassination table, unless somebody else wants to play some cards here. We're going to roll some die. So of course we're looking for,
Yeah.
well, at least the assassinator is looking for 5 and above. Now I just want to double check. There's
they have
no
any cards
changes
first?
to the assassination for the Middle Republic.
No,
I
there
believe
is
it's
no
just the
change
checking
by
of cards
the
whether anyone wants
eras
to play one.
for the
Hang on, there's
assassination
people
table.
talking over each
Yeah,
other
no.
here. Let's Appius Rufus, you would go again.
There is no changes to the assassination tables by the eras.
Sure.
The different
Perfect.
eras do not change.
Worth
these
asking.
tables.
Yeah,
Rome Console, did you say something?
I was just going
Quintus
to say,
Octavius?
just double checking that none of them have cards.
That's up to them to deploy if they wish. Sounds like we're good for a die roll. So, all right, Assassin, go ahead and roll your 1d6. Oh, that's boring.
Lucky.
Not if you skip here.
Oh, sorry. That's very good.
Whew.
I was hoping for something exciting there, but that'll have to do, I guess.
So you're hoping for him to die. Thanks a lot.
No, not necessarily. I mean, either
Yeah, for his
outcome of the
amusement,
extremities.
remember? This is all about
Either
his
outcome of the
amusement.
extremities would have been perfectly fine. I'm always in favour of a special major prosecution, but nonetheless, no effect. So there we go. Thank you for that brief interlude. Thank you for putting the tokens out. That's good. All right. So where were we? We've got a
Tribune.
proposal on the floor to send all available forces. Is that correct, Tribune?
Yes, that is correct.
To go fight the Second Macedonian. So over to the Rome Consul to run the vote.
I just deny the Tribune.
Sadly not, because unless you got your own proposal in before it, but he snuck his Tribune in first. So.
Early bird catches the worm.
I'm going to just start my stuff up there and keep typing for a second. I believe that veto is a part of a person. Who was that senator who played that?
Sorry, what veto are you talking about?
I believe the veto was a free veto, which means it came from a senator. So I just want to know
marked.
its ID.
It's marked. Yep, that's what that is over there. It was taken away. That's correct.
Are you wondering who it was? Like
I would have come off.
There was the Pontifex, if I'm
The Pontifex veto.
No, the Pontifex already used his veto.
What?
No, he's talking about the proposal.
Oh, you mean talking about
There
the
was no
Tribune?
second
The
veto.
Tribune.
He used his
Yeah,
veto.
the
Tribune.
Yeah, the
proposal.
Tribune.
Yeah.
That was Cato. He gets a free Tribune per turn.
Cato gets it? Okay, so just wanted to try and figure out who.
Mm-hmm. Sorry.
Mhm.
No, that's all right. That was my fault for not stating that.
Alright, Cato 22.
And we're just waiting on the Rome Consul now to call on the remainder of the votes of the Senate. Are you just looking around for something, Quintus Octavius?
I'm just typing it out.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep, fair enough. Keep
I was trying to get
forgetting
the
that you're the scriber.
clarification. Yep.
I like your diligent note taking. It's been very good.
Alright. I shall call forth Marcus Decimus.
I veto the proposal.
Yep.
Throw a card for me. There you go. All right.
Hold my drink.
Okay. That proposal is off the floor. Rome Consul, back to standard session for you.
I'd like to drop a
No.
Tribune, please.
Okay. Yep. A tribune's been thrown out. Who threw that one this time?
That was me.
All right. Numerus
just a
Aurelius,
random
please tell us about your proposal.
Now, I just would like to clarify, right? Since that was vetoed, that means I cannot propose the same proposal.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's correct.
You can modify it by
Exactly.
only a little bit and it'll be valid.
Okay. Yep. So if I was to say, for instance, that I would like to send the Rome Consult with all available forces, but only 6 fleets, which is
So
less.
you wouldn't be able to do that, I'm afraid,
No.
because the field console always has to go first or in at the same time as the Rome console.
Yeah, sorry, did I misspeak? I meant the field
Sorry.
console.
Yeah, so reiterate that again for us.
So it's the same proposal. I'm just minusing the number of fleets I would be sending
Okay.
by one.
So-
That fits the criteria of a new proposal.
6 fleets instead of 7, is that what you're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's valid.
Yep. Certainly
Okay.
is.
In that case, then I would like to send. Yep, my proposal is to send the field console along with all available forces and 6 fleets.
All right,
Off
Rome
to fight
console.
Second Macedonian War, just to clarify.
There you go.
Since it's
That's
2
better.
wars.
Rome console's madly scribbling that down.
Should just start copy and pasting it at this point.
You can too.
Alright.
So it is proposed that 6 fleets will go now, right?
Correct.
I'll put my 3 votes towards the nay section.
Okay.
Marcus Decimus, could I have your votes, please?
I'll place my 14 votes in the negative.
I would like to hear from Tiberius Cornelius.
I'll vote 22 in favour.
Alright.
I'm confused.
I'd like
Why do
to
people
call
not want to
Appius
send the
Rufus.
troops?
Because of the amount of fleets which are proposed.
Sorry, I didn't hear.
Because it blocks the other war to be prosecuted or not. Or
Sorry,
what
I-
did I get?
Yeah.
I
Appius
didn't-
Rufus, I would like to call the point of order. Please place your votes.
Sorry, who has to place the votes?
You.
You.
Sorry, I didn't get it. 4 in favor.
I'd like to call Numerous Aurelius.
So that's 19 votes in favour, please. Oops.
And Marco Earlier.
Well,
It doesn't really matter where you vote.
okay,
Every
I'll
vote
abstain.
matters.
Okay. We have an outcome. I'm going to go grab a marker for Valerius. Dual console.
The Rome consul would just like to state he's very disappointed by the fact that no one's changed the treasury at all.
Don't you have control of the treasury benches?
Oh yeah, let's fix that up, shall we?
Alright.
Where can I grab this away from Rome? Ah, okay, there.
There we go. Found it for you. All right, let's deploy our forces into the active wars box. Very good. Well done. I can see the fleet left behind. Excellent. All right. Nice. Good. So Valerius is off.
Since no one's placing a tribune at the moment and I can finally speak, did no one think about sending the Rome consul too? Because we could have sent the field consul to take the shorter war with the less military force, and then myself with the higher military force and the nullification of half loss to the higher war.
I guess the proposers were very well aware of that issue.
Well, I don't think there would have been technically enough legions if you look at it.
Oh,
So-
to do both wars? I didn't think we had
Yeah.
enough to do both wars.
No. So the Rome consul's got, I think it was
We
5
have enough.
military. 5 military, plus an extra 8 for that secondary war. I don't think that would have been enough, to be honest.
I think maybe the proposers were concerned that that the consul was going to abscond from their sacred duties to protect Rome.
Yes. I did hear such an utterance in the
No, I
Senate?
heard nothing.
no.
No.
Mm.
The good thing is now we do not have to decide upon the issue of garrisons in the provinces.
True. True.
Well, we could always
Rome
raise
Consul,
more
still your
forces.
Senate.
Yeah, we could always continue to raise more forces.
True.
This is true. Do we have any governorships that are available at the moment? Oh, we
No.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really? Where?
There's 2. We got 2 from
Which
defeating the
also-
second
wait.
Punic. But we kind of had all these tribunes jumping
Yeah,
in.
which technically weren't even able to be played yet.
You're right. Send them back.
Yeah. Get them all go. Get out of here. All right. Let's see. What do we have? Hispania, Etheria, and Hispania.
Get Africana out of here. Get him out of here.
That's a bit racist,
Yes,
right?
I'm up there.
So for those watching along at home, the Rome Consul is now considering the proposals of assigning governors to the 2 provinces that you're seeing in front of you on your screen, which is Hispania Citerior and Hispania Ulterior, which are 2 relatively new provinces that popped up for us in the last session. And we're now going to assign governorships, which is mandatory.
But they are frontier provinces. Make sure that you keep this in mind because they would be under the barbarian raids effect.
Right. And for those who
Yeah,
are
but
looking
it's
at what a
mandatory.
frontier province is, it's the provinces with an underscored name and black-bordered silhouettes are frontier provinces, which are susceptible to the barbarian raid events in the Middle and Late Republics, as we do, and should be garrisoned accordingly.
So are some of them not
That's gonna
susceptible?
suck for whoever gets them.
I
Correct.
wasn't aware of that.
The non-frontier
Correct.
ones are not susceptible.
Yeah. Those which are not underlined are not.
So, is there anyone who is willingly wanting a governor?
Oh.
As if not, oh,
Ba-dum. So they're not going to be affected
if
by
anyone
the
would-
raids.
They will be.
They will. They will.
They will be.
There's
They
a
will.
possibility.
Yes.
There's a possibility there, for sure.
Oh.
But go if you want. Go. I don't keep you away from them.
Yeah.
The Senate demands a tribute.
Yeah, Papyrus, he looks like a very influential guy. Maybe he could stave those barbarians off.
I mean, only if we have like a Aurelius, right?
We could send Scipio, no? We could send Scipio. He could defeat the barbarians.
We could.
He's too drunk. Get him out of here. Off to Spain with him.
I would say Scipio would be a good option there because he proved so good in warfare. We should give him a province there.
Sorry, are you saying to send Scipio off?
I would
Yeah,
like to
same.
have it proposed, but I don't know what the concept.
I just want to highlight to you that if for some reason Scipio wins a battle there, he will automatically become consul for life.
Not
I
until he
just want to
returns to
present
Rome.
that risk to you. If
But
he does
he
well
will-
there,
He will be in the provinces.
Yeah,
yeah.
Not,
but if
not until
if
he
he has to
returns.
face a provincial war for whatever reason in the future, in the next 3 turns during his tenancy, during his governorship, he could get
Yeah, but he would-
influence from winning that battle.
It's a big
He
risk.
would have
though.
to survive first, right?
True, but we've seen survivors, haven't we?
We certainly have. One too
But
many.
he is a good guy. He could fend off the barbarians.
I mean,
Perhaps,
if you don't think you're going to have any Spanish results during the term of his governorship, or any other-
Appius seems quite confident of the chances of protecting against the barbarians. Perhaps Quinticus would like to go.
He's not a good. He's not good at military. Nothing compared to Scipio.
Scipio, I ask you, what is your profession?
At the moment, it's dodging assassins and studying up on the law.
But you
Reading
you
up
told
on-
us that
on
you would do
tax law.
everything in the service of Rome. So why wouldn't you go to the provinces and protect Rome against those barbarian hordes? Out of your free
Well,
will.
I ask you the same question. Scipio,
I will follow your lead. I will make a deal with you. If he goes to a province, Quinctius will go also to a province, okay?
Has Scipio not demonstrated his love and support for Rome so many
No,
times?
no, you proposed something, now I catch up on it, and I
be
propose
foolish
to
for
you
me
we can
to
do your deal.
occupy all the heroic seats, and
No, we can
I
do your
will allow
deal.
others
So
to.
your word means nothing?
Can I just do a test? Tiberius Cornelius, can you hear Appius Rufius?
Yes, I can. Yes.
And Appius Rufius, can you hear Tiberius Cornelius? You're mute
You're on mute.
currently. Appius Rufius? You're currently on mute, Appius Rufius?
Maybe
Come
you
in,
can't
Yellow
hear you.
Faction. Come in, Star Command.
Appius, can you hear?
Appius, can you hear me?
Doesn't sound.
Appius.
Appius, can you hear GM?
I can who?
The GM.
Can you hear me?
What's his name?
I
What's his
can
Roman
hear.
name? Decimus Aurelius.
Can you hear
Can you
Decimus
hear-
Aurelius? Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh.
And can you hear Tiberius Cornelius?
Can he talk?
Yes, I'm always happy
Yeah,
to talk.
I hear him.
Good. Okay, just checking. Just checking. Carry on. So, Rome Console, what's happening? Let's wrap this game up, shall we?
I was seeing if they're still going to keep talking about who's going to go if one of them was elected, because they were deciding if one of them was going to go, the other was. So
Yes, I'm open to this proposal. If Scipio is going and taking the lead, I will Quinctius will follow him to another province. I have no problem.
No, it's not been an offer that's been accepted.
I should just state that the Roman consul can to make whatever proposal he wishes.
yeah, this is true. So if no one's volunteering, I suppose we should make it more even among the factions. Alright.
Those watching at home, the Rome Console still contemplating how he may distribute these devonerships.
Run console's just typing.
Console is also typing by the sounds of things. How's your shorthand?
Oh, getting there.
So you guys, I wish I had aircon in my office.
You're nice and warm, eh?
Yeah, when my computer's blasting the heat off the floor.
As is mine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
very
but you guys a bit more further south than what I am.
Yeah, I can. I'm not envious of you.
I'm
You
right
got a
next to the desert
ceiling
where
fan?
I am.
Yeah.
You got a ceiling fan, Aurelius?
No, I don't.
I at least have that to
Yeah.
benefit me.
I used to live in Queensland, and when I went back up and visited there, I couldn't stand it anymore. After moving down south, I couldn't sleep. It was so humid.
Alright, everyone. I shall put forward a proposal to send Calpurnius 16 of our lovely faction, the Corona, to Hispania Criteria.
Hispania Caterior is the
Soteria.
proposal online.
Yeah, there we
You're just
go.
going to do them one at a time. You're going to wrap them both up at once, which you can do if you'd like.
Yes, but if I do it singularly, I can
Sure.
then see who's willing to vote for what, and then I
That
can
is your
try
choice.
and double them together.
And that's fair enough.
I'll wait to do my votes. We'll go with Marco Elia. Can I have your votes?
Okay, so this is going to. Which one is he going to? Hispania. Which one?
Italia.
Soteria. Okay. Oh.
Make sure you announce your votes.
13 in favour.
I'll hear from Appius Rufus.
Against 2 nay.
I'd like to hear from Numerous Aurelius.
Yep. So that is 16 in favour. I believe it is. Yep.
I was going to say, why is it so hot? Are you guys like in Queensland or something?
I
Yeah, I
am,
was going to say the humidity in Adelaide is
I
annoying
am
at
in
the moment.
rural Queensland.
Oh my
Good
gosh.
times. All right. Marcus Decimus, your votes, please.
I'll place my votes against the proposal.
My 3 in favour. And I'll hear from Tiberius Cornelius.
21 against.
The vote fails with 32 to 26. Game Master, just to clarify, the only reason someone would be ineligible is they're away from Rome, correct?
Correct. Obviously, if they're away from Rome, they can't be governor. Of course, you could offer that same senator for the other province. That would be a perfectly valid vote, of course.
Yeah, and that's the problem. He's not really completely ineligible.
That's correct. He's only ineligible for one of the provinces.
But and then you could, if you wanted, you could
Yeah,
do a
and
double and get him
yes.
back.
And you
Yeah.
could also add him up with other with other senators proposed to go there. So he's not even completely out for this governorship, because you could propose.
It'll be important for us
Petronius.
to try and track. Because obviously the last senator for a particular province is sort of obliged to go because they're the only available candidate left. So if we keep failing proposals, then we'll need to start tracking. All right, Rome Console, let's speed things up a bit. What's next?
Let's see. Let's have a look at some people.
Yeah.
You know, we're gonna do it just to see how this goes. I would like to put forward Scipio Africanus to go to Hispania Ulteria.
Hispania Ulteria. The other one.
That'll write this.
Oh.
Who's going
Let's
to
get
vote
by the
first?
end. Oh, that would be me. And I'll hear from Marcus Decimus.
I'll place my 13 votes in favour of the proposal.
I shall hear from Numerous Aurelius.
Sorry, just unmuting myself. That would be 16 votes. I guess Naya didn't see who it was.
I shall hear from Marco Elia.
Can't he win then if he wins the war and then comes back?
Well,
What was the question?
There isn't a war currently.
But if there is
But to be
one,
honest, Marka Vedya, what difference make it? It's a moot point if he gets with 50 talents to 35 and then he wins. So
Console would lack a point of order. Let's place votes. Marco Elliott.
no.
All right. Appius Rufus.
I'm with 2 in favor of this.
And Tiberius Cornelius.
21 against.
Votes definitely failed. Really a shame we can't skip these.
All right, for those playing at home, we've just seen another failed proposal for a governorship. The Rome Consul's considering the next one.
Oh, can you send leaders?
Action leaders, yeah.
Yeah, I can send whoever I want as long as they're not away.
Oh,
I wonder. Time for more typing. I don't think that will ever happen.
So while the Rome Consul's thinking about his next couple of moves, I'm going to call for a break, folks, so we can give ourselves a bit of a leg stretch and a bit of a break, and we'll come back in about 5 minutes' time, okay? So for those watching live, don't go away. We'll be right back to continue with some governorship proposals. Stand by. And we are back from our break. Thank you very much for your patience. If you're watching us live, our senators have had a bit of a leg stretch and a bit of a break. So let's turn it back over to the Rome Consul for his next governorship proposal. Over to you, Rome Consul.
All right, let me scroll back up. Okay. So I propose that we send Junius 10. I want to say their IDs because this is what I've just written to make it easy. To Hispania, what is it? Criteria? Citerior?
Could we please use
However
the
you
nominate
pronounce that
markers?
one. And Flaminius 13 to Hispania Ulterior.
The criteria for Junius, yep. There we go. I think we've matched up the provinces to the nominees, governorship nominees. We're doing a double banger.
Right, I shall hear from Marcus Stephanus.
I'll place my 13 votes in favour.
Alright, Numerous Aurelius.
That is. Sorry, I was just checking I wasn't on mute. 16 against.
Tiberius Cornelius.
21 against.
Right. Aquilio. Marco.
13 against.
Oh, yeah, okay. Alright, and Appius Rufus.
2 against.
It'll be one long session if you guys keep this going.
Right.
All right. Next one is Aurelius 9 to Hispania Superior and Flaminius 13 to Hispania Ulterior.
You want to grab those nominee markers and put the correct provinces, the correct candidates there, Rome Consul? That's it. They align with your provinces at the top, do they?
I have no clue at the moment.
Well, have a look.
Let's
Have a look,
find
because the red is red, green with green. Are they matched based on your nomination, your proposal? Cool.
First of all, I would like Numerous Aurelius to call his votes since they're already sitting there.
Sorry, what was the? Yeah. Yes.
All right. Marcus Decimus.
I'll place my 13 votes in favour of the proposal.
I shall hear from Appius Rufius.
2 in no, 2 nay.
I shall hear from Tiberius Cornelius.
21 against.
And Mark Aurelius.
13 nay.
So I'm relying on your notes there, Scriber, to ensure that we don't nominate the same candidate for the same province more than once in all these defeats. So your tracking will be important here to make sure that...
That is correct. I am making sure there is no repeats of
Good.
the exact same thing. All right. Julius ID 4, which I believe is... Where did he go? I am losing where I was at. Good times. Oh, there he is, down here. And you are green.
Good.
And then Papyrus to Hispania Ulterior.
Okay.
All right. 3 votes towards that. Marcus Decimus.
13 votes in favour.
Numerous Aurelius.
Sorry, just 1 second. That's 16 votes against. Oh, sorry, I just looked at the people. 16 in favour.
Appius Rufius.
2 votes against.
Tiberius Cornelius.
21 against.
Sitting here for a while. Mark Aurelius.
Yeah, I suppose I'm considering the options. Like, what happens when we run out of options? What happens then?
You won't, because the last set of eligible candidates will become the governors.
Yes.
So if you keep all denying the proposals, eventually whoever's last will become the governors.
For those remaining in chat, you can begin the computational all possible options. If an
I think
average
if
of
we
1
get-
minute per vote, how
if
long
we
will it take us?
Yeah, if we get 3 more proposals shot down, I think I'm going to call it there for the night, and then we're going to do up a spreadsheet from here, ready for the next session, so we can track who is been denied and otherwise, because it appears that this may go on for some time. But let's see what happens in the next couple of proposals.
Anyway, Mark Aurelius.
Yeah. I'm wondering about just saying yes to it because it also allows us other options as well. And there will be votes for consoles and there will be other changes in terms of when we, and you can also bring back from governorships as well too, can't you?
You can in a
Consoles
subsequent
can do
turn,
that.
yeah.
It's interesting that my remarks were always shut down by the consul and the others. That's interesting too.
What did you say? Sorry. Appius?
it's quite interesting to observe who's when the vote, when is the vote enforced, right, and when not.
The vote's enforced. I'm just waiting.
I'm going to vote 13 in favour. I suggest we send them and move on.
Woohoo! Finally passed.
Is that a pass? Is it?
Yeah.
Did we get
Yes.
through?
Sorry, I picked
Yes, we
this
did.
card.
Amazing. Oh wow. All right.
Let me
Let's
just
get some
erase my
governor's
next
armors
3.
on. First one is Julius. Who's the other new governor?
Papyrus.
Papirius. Papirius and Julius. Papirius and Julius.
Why do I have 2 talents counters? Did I just copy it?
You may have.
Okay.
Okay, I've
That
got
was
Papirius.
all.
Which province is Papirius going to?
It was Papyrus to Ulteria and Julius Cytherea.
All right, and Julius is going to the other side. All right, let me pull out my Julius armor. Where is Julius? There he is. Did I go past him before? All right, 2 governors. Let's put up. Papirius is Aquila faction, and Julius is Corona faction. So it's that one faction's vote that turned the tide.
Mm-hmm.
And do not
All right,
forget
and those,
to subtract your voting power now.
yeah, don't forget to update your vote markers.
Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4.
That's it. All right. They're done. All right. Those province cards can head out there as well. Let's put those nominees tokens back. So that is for Caterior. That can sit there. The other one. Is it? Right, Rome Console, still your Senate.
Alrighty. Let's see.
You've done all the mandatory stuff at least. That's good.
Yes, we have. I'm curious. So in the cheat sheet that we have, it says the deployment or recall of units and commanders to war.
Yep.
Theoretically, this is most likely never going to happen, but theoretically, if a vote passed right now, I could recall the person who was sent out with troops.
You could not.
No, you cannot.
The,
You cannot.
The recall is only referring to cases of, say, a proconsul, for example, who's a commander. So you could recall him,
Yeah,
but
okay.
you can't recall a force you've just sent out in the same turn.
Okay. Just wanted to clarify what specifically went on there. Right, let's see. Tax Farmer 2.
Yes, please.
Well, Rhino doesn't really need any money.
I do.
Plus Egyptian grain, so you're getting minimum at least 5 talents a turn, plus that. Okay.
Given the state of the board, Roman Consul, perhaps you should just take this one for yourself.
Oh, maybe that was the marker that I had 2 of them. I took Papirius's marker. That's where it was from. Sorry. I was like, what happened? How did I?
I mean, I could technically vote to take it for myself, but I don't think that would pass. But we're going to do it anyway. We shall put forward that
Greedy one.
Fabius Maximus.
Should do it anyway.
Why not use the
There's
power
the
of the
tax
console to enrich yourself? Why not?
Yeah, why not?
Taxes.
That's Marker's trigger word.
It's the biggest thing we pay.
All right. Let's just get this out of the way. I'd like to hear your vote, Marcus Stephens.
I place my 13 votes in favour.
All right, I'd like to hear your votes, Numerous Aurelius.
That is 16 votes in favour.
I'd like to hear your votes, Appius Rufus.
2 against.
Taking a stand.
I'm sorry, my taxes are so high. I'd like to hear from the Corona faction, Tiberius Cornelius.
Yeah, 17 votes for the millstone around your neck.
Let me just catch up so I can actually write down who voted what now. Where are we? We are 2 and then we are, what are we? 32, 17 on top of 32 is, okay, right, 49. I'd like to hear from Marco Elia.
Yes, you can enjoy your taxes.
There we go. Proposal
I'm
passes.
surprised
Take
that went
your
through in one
Yes,
attempt.
new concession.
That's the wrong one.
Nah, it's already on your table.
Oh, thank you very much. Okay, we'll just put that there for now. Okay, what else do we have? We don't really have anything else to do. Do we want to disband the land bill?
Isn't this giving us extra revenue?
No, it's taking
No,
off.
Costing
not
money.
anymore.
It's only
Now it's
5 a year. It's only 5 a year, right?
Yeah, it's 5 over it.
I'd say leave it for now. I don't think we're too stressed.
Yeah, I think the only concern about removing it would only be, I believe, the unrest level goes back up.
Hmm.
And
Correct.
considering
Yeah,
we
we
do have an unprosecuted war that will occur,
I,
Yeah.
I certainly think maybe next year, if we win this one, we get the talents worth looking at. But for now, don't think it's a big deal.
It would have to be a flawless victory for us. Because if we lose any amount of forces,
The Pontifex will prepare a magnificent prayer.
yeah. Alright, what else do we have? We don't have anyone to give people. And we don't need a land bill. And no one's in exile.
yet.
How do we exile someone?
Exile occurs as a voluntary process for statesmen during the popular appeal process.
Look as the mighty map of the world is painted in the colour of Rome.
Is that it, Rome Console?
Um,
Been a marathon of a session.
yeah, we'll leave it at that.
All right, you need to say the
Senate is
famous words.
Alright, Senate is closed.
There we go.
Hey!
El
El Wete!
Holy moly. My eyes are falling out of my head. Jeez.
You guys
Right,
were giving
well.
me a run for my money as bloody scribe.
There we go. Yes, a big session there. I'll cover some of that in my recap shortly. Look, thank you to my senators for your first session back. That was a hard slog. So well done to you all for the end of our session 7 tonight, episode 7. Yeah, outstanding effort. let's not dilly-dally. For those watching live, we're going to take a moment to transition. I'll dismiss our senators in the background, then I'll come back and do a recap. Let our senators go to bed, shall we? All right, so if you're watching live, stand by. Don't go away. We'll be right back. All right, let's do a bit of a quick recap there. I mean, that was a long session. We've been live. We're playing for about 2 and 3/4 hours. I think I'm just watching the air time here. It's just over 3 hours. Yeah, wow. Interesting long session there. So we saw assassination attempts that didn't go anywhere. We saw heaps of tribunes being played. Obviously, some people pretty keen to see a certain amount of forces being used to prosecute. In this case, the Second Macedonian War with Philip V. Obviously, there's perhaps some concerns about that there. So the field consul Valerius has gone off to prosecute that. So we'll see how he goes. Hopefully, that's a relatively comfortable victory. So we'll note there that the Jurgentide War will be unprosecuted going forward. So that'll be there to contend with when we look at the unrest level next. Several proposals that fell flat trying to elect governorships for Hispania. Eventually, thanks to a vote from Marcoedia, we saw 2 new governors for Hispania Quiterio and Hispania Ulterior. So we've now covered that. Lots happening now. So you can't say that we're in a boring time. So when we come back for session 8 next week, we're going to see the combat phase and the Roman advance on the Macedonians. So we'll see how that goes. Hey, it's great that we're back here, finally continuing on with our large sessions, and we certainly haven't let the crowd down and continuing our marathon sessions. Lots of thinking, lots of discussions. It's been absolutely fantastic. I think I might go get some rest now. That was a long session for me too. Thank you very much for joining. Thanks for Jortanos for that tier 1 subscription. If you're watching this now live in the future on YouTube, please give us a subscribe or head over to Twitch and give us a follow on there as well. All the support is very much appreciated, and all revenue goes back to supporting Nova Roma and supporting Roman education and revivalism. This has been fantastic. I'm Decimus Aurelius. You'll be watching the Nova Roma Twitch channel. And look, until next time, Walete.